Welcome to Workplace Psychology with Dr. Martha Grajdek. I'm Dr. Martha Grajdek. This podcast examines a wide variety of work-related issues through the lens of industrial and organizational psychology. And while many of the topics discussed here may be seen as intended for white-collar employees and their employers, in reality, the ideas presented here are applicable across organizations and industries. Additionally, many of the topics discussed here may be applicable outside of the workplace. I encourage you to examine what's presented here, apply what makes sense to you, and simply discard the rest. Our workspace, where we work, whether that's at the office, on site, or virtually, maybe at home or at some other location, the environment is a big deal in terms of how it affects our experience during the workday. The physical workplace is the environment around us, what we can see, touch, smell, and hear. There are many things that come into play here, from the layout, the floor plan, the art that surrounds us. Physical perks that we may enjoy at work, maybe a lounge or a cafeteria, perhaps a gym that's available while you're working. Even the demographics, people with whom you work, people who surround you during your workday, can all be considered as part of our experience at work. But beyond all that, and perhaps on a more basic level, are things such as ergonomics, lighting, noise, temperature, smells, air quality. All of those come into play and can have a tremendous effect on our experience at the workplace. It's not surprising, therefore, that the physical environment affects our experience at work. Employee well-being is strongly correlated to employee productivity and performance. In other words, employees who enjoy their environment are more likely to be productive, engaged, happy, and healthy. And it's important to remember that even a small shift in our working environment can have a profound impact. Our physical space, things like the office layout, for example, can also have a psychological and emotional impact on us. So consider, for example, having an office or a cubicle, a private space, private workspace. There are many benefits and positives associated with having a certain level of privacy at the workplace. On the other hand, working in an open area, open offices, those are conducive to things such as cooperation and collaboration. And one is not better than the other. Both have their benefits. The key is to know which is best for your company, for your employees, and for what you're trying to accomplish as an organization. If we take it one step further to flexible workspaces, that fosters adaptability and things such as creativity. And when we allow employees to personalize their workspace, their work area, that is a certain level of empowerment for the employee, and there are tremendous benefits associated with that. So it's not difficult to see that our physical environment, things such as layout, for example, it's not difficult to see that our physical environment can affect us not only physically, but also psychologically and emotionally. There's something else that also comes into play when we talk about how our environment affects us emotionally and psychologically, and that pertains to incorporating natural elements into the environment. That would be things such as plants or water features or natural light. There are definite benefits of bringing natural elements, of bringing nature indoors. It can definitely help to improve mood, reduce stress, and improve creativity. Those are all things that every organization and all leaders should be interested in for their employees. When we think about our workplace environment in terms of the physical space in which we work, oftentimes the topic of ergonomic comes into the conversation. This is because it's an important topic. When it comes to employee health, ergonomics is profound and multifaceted. Think about this. Good ergonomics, proper ergonomics, can reduce things such as turnover or absenteeism, which might be related to poor employee health. On the other hand, a poorly designed workspace can lead to a multitude of health issues, from repetitive strain injuries to chronic pain and everything in between. A poor design can truly make for a miserable workday experience. Of course, having proper ergonomic interventions, things such as adjustable desks, user-friendly tools, and proper seating can provide a comfortable place to work, eliminating stress on the body. But if we think about it, the ergonomic approach goes beyond the physical. It affects us psychologically and emotionally. If you've ever experienced a physically uncomfortable work area or working experience, you know firsthand that that can be very stressful and taxing on you. And even though sometimes it's easiest to spot ergonomic issues in the moment, we have to consider long-term effects of poor ergonomic design. Considering that so many people work remotely, it's critical to mention that the working environment is not only limited to the office. And while it may be easier or more straightforward for an organization to be aware of their employees' working environment, the physical environment in which they work, it's important that the organization also make an effort to inquire about the working environment of the remote employee. And while the remote employee will be responsible to a large degree for their working environment, the company is not without opportunity to contribute to things such as proper ergonomics and proper tools. In the end, it's a collaboration between employer and employee. And of course, the results benefit both sides. It's easy to overlook the physical environment when we are faced with goals and deadlines. It can be easy for profits to overshadow the physical workspace. But if we look at this, whether it's short-term or long-term, the workplace environment, the workplace design is absolutely critical to the health of the organization and its employees. And that means the organization's profitability as well as the wellness and well-being of the employee. As this episode comes to an end, let's review what was discussed. Our workplace environment has a tremendous impact on our experience at work. Everything that we can see, touch, smell, and experience can be part of that consideration of the workplace design. This topic goes beyond things such as ergonomics. It encompasses things such as lighting, sounds, smells, temperature, and air quality. A good workplace design can make all the difference for both the employee and, of course, for the organization. It can affect our physical health as much as our psychological and emotional health. Things such as office layout, for example, can have tremendous psychological effects on employees, and the layout's alignment with the organization's goals and purposes can be key to its success. From physical, psychological and emotional health, to creativity, engagement, and productivity. Workplace design is an important topic of consideration for both the employer and the employee, and it's a conversation that should be had on a regular basis. Proper office design can benefit both employee and employer, whereas one that is lacking can make for a miserable experience for the employee and potentially hurt the organization's profitability and success. As the week unfolds, I invite you to consider your own physical environment. What is your own working environment like? What is the workplace design like? Is it one that promotes health and well-being, creativity and productivity, or is it one that requires some improvements? Whether you're the employer or the employee, you have the responsibility of assessing your environment and then starting a conversation to make sure improvements are in your near future. For those of you who experience this podcast in an audio-only version, I encourage you to check out my YouTube channel, Stress Free with Dr. G, where you can find the video version of this podcast. Once there, I encourage you to check out some of the other videos which focus on stress management. The link for Stress Free with Dr. G is in the description below. Thank you for joining me today. Please subscribe to this podcast. I look forward to seeing you here again next time. Until then, I wish you joy and well-being.